Hello, back at the engine again, my Honda 230 on the clutch side. Just fitted the cover here over the clutch, it's just sitting there at the moment. Just looking at the fit is good, so I'm happy with that. The main difference between this housing and the CRF 230 is this extension down here for the decompression mechanism. Because the CRF 230 doesn't have a kickstart, it doesn't have this section here. I'm going to go with the original clutch cover housing because now I have the correct push rod. There's no reason to change this housing for the CRF 230 housing, which would mean I would have had to block off this part here onto the crankcase cover. It'd be a lot of extra work. This cover is very similar to an XR200 cover. The CRF 230 cover has different contour around here as well in the way that it's cast. So I'll just take the cover off and show you where I am on the inside. Everything's all boxed up in here at the moment. Push rod just sits in here. Normally it would sit about there. This part in here is what goes into the bearing, and then this part here will fit against the outer edge of the bearing, and then when it presses in, it just pushes against the release bearing. The whole thing of course is spinning around nicely. So I just sort of put it out to about where it would be. Put the cover back on again, just making sure that I've got the actuator lined up nicely. That's about right there. A little bit tricky with one hand. So there it is sitting in place, pretty much. If I then operate the actuator and then take the cover off, you'll see now that the push rod has actually been pushed in, and that shows that everything's lining up nicely with the actuator and the end part here of the push rod. So I'm really happy about everything. All I gotta wait for this is this bearing to arrive. Bearing will just sit in here and we'll be good to go on this side. As I said, everything's tightened up nicely. I've ended up changing the original slotted screws here to Allen bolts. I just prefer Allen bolts. They're just a lot more secure. They last a lot longer for taking them off and putting them back in again, because this here is often taken apart for cleaning out, because that's where all the sludge ends up. So that's just my way of doing it. And also there's clearance down here, no problem with that missing the clutch basket. And also there's plenty of clearance here with the inside of the clutch cover, so I'm going to go with that at this stage. So that's just a little update on where I am right now. I probably won't put another video up on this part again until the bearing arrives. Then I'll be able to completely box it up and fit my gasket and tighten up this side of the engine completely. I deleted the kickstart. I've got electric starting. I don't need to have both. I'm quite happy with just the electric starting. So that's why I have this issue of having to block off the hole where the kickstart came from. That shouldn't be too hard to tidy up. I'll thank you for taking an interest in this part of the project, and I'll catch you later in the next one.